Hey everybody, welcome back to the Spotlight series. Today we are talking top 5 Bajoran cards with my local buddy Ed Pigman. You guys, he's not a big time poster on the boards. His handle is Jindrak, but he is a fantastic 2E Bajoran player, and he's also going to talk top 5 1E Bajoran cards as sort of a proxy stand-in for one of my other local guys, Corbin Johnson, who plays a lot of Bajoran. So Ed, sitting. By the way, you will not see Ed. He is currently hidden in a secret underground lair.
It's a resistance cell. Like I don't even know where I am, and at any given time, only 3 other people do, just so that if they get captured, no one comes in and raids and steals my cat. But no, I don't have any lights in this room, and I spent the day just completely becoming one with the couch. So I'm in no condition or fit for presentation for the rest of you fine folks.
All right, well, Ed, why don't we go ahead and start with your top 5 1E cards. We've just been doing first edition, first because, well, has the word first in its name.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your top 5 Bajoran cards as you have played against.
Yes. I've played maybe 1 or 2 of these if they've fit into the odd deck, but most of them have come through experience, just sort of seeing them played and maybe just looking into theoretical decks, putting decks on paper and whatnot. But I'd say first off is probably the Mirror Burial from Mirror Mirror, the alternate universe thief. I really like the alternate universe as a concept. Anytime that I can get a chance to play mirror anything, I'll usually take it. But I just like that he has the ability to grab any equipment. So depending on what's in your tent, you can get just about anything. So I like the flexibility. I like options. I like being able to just kind of pull a rabbit out of your hat.
Nice. Yeah, it's equipment is always a nice thing to have, and if you don't have to pay for anything by doing a download, that's the best.
Exactly. And then it was just sort of a bizarre kind of piece of the Trek lore that he was actually, or am I thinking of somebody else? But that was his mirror universe. There was a very stark contrast. So he came in at gunpoint, and So sorry.
Yeah, you like all the mirror characters, you like, oh, how are they going to make them different? Here we have this scruffy guy with his 5 o'clock shadow and then some.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, I know it wasn't a super unique take on the evil alternate twin, but yeah, I mean, it worked, and it was again. I mean, I kind of give a pass to anything mirror universe. So flavor wise, I like the card. Mechanics wise, it's a great card. So
all right. So what do you have for us next then?
next, I really like the Celestial Temple, the time location. I don't claim to understand all of the mechanics that Corbin has come up with, but it seems like you can do a lot of non-standard traveling around with, different mechanics between Deep Space Nine, multi-universe transporters. It doesn't occur to me to use it half the ways that I've seen it used. So it really impressed me the first time I played against it because never would have thought of any of it.
Cool. And see, this is I'm still learning all about first edition. I didn't even realize there was a time location for the Celestial Temple. So this is why I'm been so excited to do this particular series of videos and the decks that I've been looking at. Learn all sorts of new things.
Yeah, we have to give Corbin a hard time because obviously he knows the ins and outs of this a lot better than I do. So the fact that he has ducked and covered in his I don't even know what he's doing tonight. I mean, but yeah, I mean it is very cool. It's a unique. I guess there's a draw mechanic associated with it as well.
Yeah, so let's see. Any player may relocate their unique non-treachery personnel between here and their ship or facility at the Alpha Quadrant. Any player with an personnel here may draw an additional card at the end of each turn, unless weapons greater than 9 at any Bajoran wormhole. Cool. So you're holding. So unless somebody's holding the wormhole captive, then you. Oh, and the year is infinity. That's a nice little touch there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can. It's right next to Bajor, right next to Deep Space Nine. It's all the same sector, so you can drop somebody off, leave them in the temple, and just draw cards. It's a very very kind of unique little centerpiece to a Bajoran system deck.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, what do you got for us next?
The next I would say is the triple affiliation Kira Nerys.
I remember her being a favorite when I was a player.
Exactly. I like the dual affiliation cards. I think it's just kind of cool that when they have associations with, I guess I wouldn't call them teams in the universe, but when they have associations with, like, say, Starfleet gets in particular close contact with the Maquis, that I mean, they can associate with both. So I like the fact that she can fit in so many decks and she has useful skills. And the card frame is actually really, really cool. I like how everything about the card came out.
Plus, she's +3 strength versus Dominion.
Oh yeah,
That's
mechanically she's an excellent card. And the fact that she is splashable in so much. I know that there's other cards that people will splash into just about every deck, like Temporal Micro Wormhole with Dr. Telechromor, I think it is. And it's not that it's anything particularly powerful or game breaking. It's just that it is a really easy way to get some, alternate skills or alternate species into a deck. So that's all I got to say about that.
All right.
Number 4, I would say, is probably Overseer Odo. I'm not sure what set it is. I'm looking for my phone. If I minimize Google Chats, does it end this whole thing in a crash? Or
It'll be fine. No, it'll be fine. He would be from Mirror, I think.
I believe so. Yeah. I mean, it's all, again, sort of dipping into the mirror universe, just because it's my my personal favorite sort of flavor. But let's see here.
Yeah, he's a Bajoran Cardassian personnel. He's got security, leadership, geology, computer skill, and use special download, process, or and strength 10. Very nice. Yeah. So another solid personnel to have.
Yeah, and then when you're looking at the Mirror Terrak Nor, it doesn't have any restrictions on process ore, so you can dig through your deck really quickly with that. Really easy to set up with him there, because security, you can get him with Defend Homeworld. So he's just sort of a key part of a lot of download combos and engines to get the process ore up and running. And from a lot of the games that I've seen, the ability to churn through your deck can really put you ahead.
Yeah, I used to have a Bajoran Cardassian deck when I was a 1E player, like way back in the day, that I called the Process Orb deck.
Oh, nice.
It did a whole bunch of stuff with orbs and the Process Ore objective, which is again always nice to be able to draw more cards.
Yeah, I started off as a 2E player. 1E was something I was aware of when it came out, and I actually had a couple of cards. But if you or anyone remembers when Decipher first brought the game out, product was nearly impossible to find until they came out with the white border. So as much as I may have wanted to play when it first came out, it was just not possible. You couldn't find anything. So I just gave up, and it wasn't until I think a few sets that had already come out for 2E that I was interested in it again. But the mechanics of 1E are so different from 2E because you can set up combos, you can set up download chains that each piece gets the next and the next. It's more of like, say, a detailed plan as opposed to more of the luck of the draw like 2E is. So I find the intricacies of being able to set up an 8 or 9 card chain and actually have it work really fascinating.
Yeah, that you and you definitely get more story mode going on in 1E.
Oh yeah,
sure. That was one of the things I liked. Although I hate to say the word like necessarily. My process orb deck was the Bajorans were working in the orb processing unit. It was very story mode. The Cardassians were cracking the whip on them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's round out the 1E chat and move on to second edition. So, give me your I guess is this your top number? Is this your number 5 then?
They're in no particular order, although I guess I can just spot order them out of preference. Yeah, absolutely. My number 5. Actually, I have an honorable mention before we get into the list.
All right, honorable mention.
No. Honorable mention is Borum Selfless Hero. It's a fantastic card. I mean, it's cheaply costed. It has the resistance keyword, a couple of useful skills, and the ability is, in theory, like fantastic. I mean, you can go get, a Cisco or Barile, any expensive person with leadership just right out of the discard pile. He's honorable mention because for as many times as I've played Bajorans and played with him in the deck, I have never used his ability to actual good effect. I think like the most I've actually gotten is like maybe a 3-cost, like Orta or something. So just totally unspectacular. No clutch game plays from using that card. So underwhelming to me. I'm sure everyone else is thinking I'm dumb, but there you have it. But to start off the top 5 properly, the first one is sort of a combination, which I know isn't really fair, but that's how I roll. Painol, Resistance Soldier, and the Tenari, Resistance Flagship. 2E, I've found that there's a lot of Bajoran strategies I like, but the one that I like the most is definitely Resistance. There's not a lot of combat decks going around, or maybe there are, but not really in our meta. And I just really like the way the Bajoran Resistance or Militia, the way the deck plays out. So the ability to cancel interrupts and do it with key cards you're going to be playing anyways is really, really key.
Yeah, I'm planning on showcasing a very basic Bajoran combat deck for my beginner series. Excuse me. And so that's my plan for. I was going to go steal one of your decks actually.
No, hey,
and engineer it, because I think my Bajoran deck that I've been playing recently is probably a little too, with the orbs, is probably a little too much for a new player to keep track of, because there's a lot of in and out of the discard pile, which takes a little bit to get used to. But I haven't shown off any personnel combat yet, so that'll be. I did engagements with Klingons, but I haven't done personnel combat. So
yeah. Well, I know we have our Infinite Diversity draft on Sunday. I would be glad to bring the most recent iteration of my Bajoran deck so you can take a look at it.
Cool. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
So, all right. So we've got Paintall, and you said the Tanari.
Yeah, the Tanari is the Bajoran resistance. I guess their main ship, even though it's so tiny. Um, it has the effect of letting you use any of the Bajoran resistance personnel abilities that require you to lose 5 points to do so. You can exchange the ability to pay 5 or the cost of paying 5. You can destroy a hand weapon or an assault event, I believe, that has a cost of 1 or more. So you have hand weapons anyways. You have assault events anyways, just because of how the deck works. And the ability to turn all of those into graph plating traps is ridiculous. So yeah, that's. I mean, there's other cards, of course, that combo with the Tanari, but Paintall in particular, the ability to just kind of put the kibosh on interrupts is pretty big.
Oh, definitely, definitely. All right, so that's 1 and
number
2,
5A and 5B.
5A and 5B. All right.
There you go. Yeah. Number 4, I would say, is the Orb of Prophecy and Change. So you said that you've been doing Bajoran orbs recently.
Yeah,
this, I think, is. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
That one. That one I call the. I think that's the Swapsy orb. Swapsy's orb.
Yeah. It's the queen called the Borg Queen stuck in an orb.
Yes. Yeah, I love. Yeah, that is the most powerful of the orbs.
Oh, absolutely.
Is to be, because when you can swap in a exchange of personnel present with a personnel of the same affiliation in your discard pile. So get Barile in your discard pile. Oh, all of a sudden, Hayeth Yar, who costs 1, turns into Barile, who costs 5, or the
Exactly.
Emissary, or Kaiopaka.
Exactly. Hey, look,
Amazing.
Jabara, who costs 1, turns into Odo. Who knew?
Right.
It's so huge, and it allows you to get around skill filtering dilemmas. Or is it just when the
It's just when you begin the mission attempt, so
when it
you
begins the
can't.
mission? Okay, so it's not a pure
Yes.
queen swap, right?
Right.
But if you have, like I say, a couple of centerpiece characters who are integral to the deck or just extremely powerful, losing them to a discard or losing them to having to, take the top card of your deck, etc., into the discard pile, or losing them to a dredge return pile, it allows you to recur them. It's extremely powerful. It's actually one of the only orbs that I've gotten a lot of use out of. The other ones, but that one's a real workhorse.
The orb of contemplation, I've gotten a lot of use out of. It's very situational. That one says when your personnel present is about to be stopped or killed by a dilemma, if you have a copy of him or her in your discard pile, you can return the equipment to your hand to prevent that. And I found that to be very useful. But the Orb of Time, not as much. That one's all very situational.
Yeah, and even the other orb that lets you prevent kills. It seems like a lot of hoops to go through just to do what an emergency transport unit would do, anyways.
True.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not knocking it. I mean, this just allows you to have more ETUs in effect out, but really, the other two just don't hold up to the power of prophecy and change, and we're just so good.
All right, so let's see. That's number 4. What you got for 3?
Number 3 is a recent addition, and actually sort of a subtle one. So it's not going to be anything super flashy, but Okala Anlo, unsung hero. She is a 1 cost with the resistance keyword, but just the whole card overall, I think, is just so great. I mean, the 1 cost, she has 6 strength, which is the key kind of attribute for combat decks. But they don't just kind of bloat the card out by giving her 6/0, where she has 5s for integrity and cunning. But just her skills are needed skills and the ability to get people back from your discard pile when you win in a combat is, again, huge. The discard pile.
Very cool. I haven't played with her yet, but I haven't done anything new with my Bajoran deck for a bit now.
Yeah.
But besides, mine's not a combat deck anyway. But that's.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I said that's very cool.
Yeah, when this card came out and I was seeing how the new cards would sort of fit into the existing Bajoran resistance deck I had, she actually shored up two skills that I needed for missions, which were medical and officer. I needed more of anyways, so that was a perfect fit. Security in the deck is never a bad thing. Strength means that she keeps up with everybody else. And the one cost and being able to get cards back from the discard pile. I think, one of the design team's home runs insofar as creating a useful, non-flavor of the month balanced card. It really just shows a high degree of sort of knowledge and care in crafting the card. So.
All right, cool. So let's all right, so let's see. That was number 3. What's your number 2?
Number 2 is I know I hate to keep going to the well, but it's just really it's my favorite deck to play. I think for the past, I'd say 2 years now. Is Shakar Eden, Resistance Leader. He is the oddly non-command star version of Barile, or I'm sorry, Shakar. But what he brings on the card more than makes up for the fact that he doesn't have a command star. Definitely a case of a linchpin for the deck, so someone you would look to get back from the discard pile with Ocala if you needed it.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a pump to strength while you're in combat of +2, which is enormous. Broadcasting 1 strength regardless of just doing mission attempts, also phenomenally useful, especially for just high strength missions. And then the leadership ×2, being able to use Bridge Officer's Test is just amazing.
Yeah, I have playing against. So, guys, for our audience, one of our local players, Casey Wickham, is a great skill tracker, and his dilemma piles always feature 3 times infinite diversity and 3 times rapid progress. And so those are both all-stop dilemmas. So being able to use Bridge Officer's Test in our meta is pretty much, it's clutch. You have to.
Yeah. I mean, it's Bridge Officer's Test isn't a card that you're able to play left and right, and you play in every game. But it's the type of card that when it comes to that one clutch play where you need it, it can totally blow a game out.
Yep.
And having it on a character who features other skills that you need, the keywords that you need, a reasonable cost, a broadcast for tributes. Yeah, I mean, really, it's. I think if he did have a command star, or even cost like a little less, it would start to delve into being like sort of a broken card.
Mm-hmm.
As it is, it's just really, 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 really good.
All right, so give us your number 1 card for 2nd edition Bajorans then, Ed.
Yeah. Every list has to have a cure, right? I mean,
of
I
course.
think people would be mad if I didn't include a cure on there somewhere. I briefly toyed with the idea of making an all cure list, but I think that sometimes I think I'm too clever, or I think that I'm too clever, and people really are just like, you're not that clever. So I stayed honest.
Brad DeFruiter, if you're out there watching, I'm gonna call you, and I'm gonna have Brad do an all cure list then.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, not to say that the idea is junk, but I think quite highly of myself. I think that I consider myself the funniest person in any given room, especially when the room's empty. But in the interest of humility, I have to entertain the possibility that I may or may not be wrong. So, But yeah, Akira had to go on the list. There's Akira just about every Bajoran deck, but the favorite of mine is Kira Nerys Leela. I
I
am
personally
surprised.
am a fan.
Mhm. I am always surprised at how little I see of her being played. I mean, I realize there are other good Kiras out there, but I would expect to see more of this one. Um, to me, this seems like this, I would say, is probably a perfect card. I can't think of anything that I would do to improve it that would not put it in the area of everyone saying, "Oh, it's a broken card that needs to be eroded or whatnot." It is. It hits everything, everything, everything. Um, her attribute line is sixes across the board. Um, the host keyword, which you can combine with the Jadzia Dax, who is a Kai or a Vedic, I believe.
She's a Vedic. She yeah. So you can in a pure Bajoran deck, you've got two hosts then, who so you can use the Rite of Emergence with her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So you can skill gain and grab treachery. She's got 6 useful skills, including the fairly rare skill of law. I don't know
exactly.
how I don't know how often how much law there is in a Bajoran deck, but that's
Yeah, there's little bits. I mean, law is one of those that's when they say pick any skill except for what is it? Telepathy, law, acquisition, and
intelligence.
yeah, it's one of those that even the game mechanics realizes is scarce.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, somebody throws the odd drum head at you and you blow it out with Kira Lila, and there you go.
Hmm.
Um, and of course, the ability to get any card out of your discard pile when you play her is just completely out there. Every time that I've played her, it has been like a game swing, like getting a Verity Disruptor that I needed out of my discard pile, or a ship that somehow, got blown up and I couldn't find another one. Just, it's so versatile, so versatile. And then as far as the host keyword, there's actually two additional. Um, Not for the new Bajoran headquarters where you can't play not aligned, but the Odo from Reflections, Curzon Odo, is a host
Hmm.
also. And there's a non-aligned Yedrin Dax who's also a host. So at Bajor version 1, you can actually play 4 hosts in a pure Bajoran deck. So
Cool.
Red of Emergence becomes, a huge cheater for that. And yeah, everything about the card is just it's again, I can't think of anything that I could do to add to it that wouldn't push it over the edge. And I think that's kind of the hallmark of a perfect card, where it's just good on every aspect of it, and that even a twinge more would make it overpowered.
Plus, even the picture's nice because if you think back to what episode that's in, that where Dax is meeting all of her prior hosts, how
Yeah.
the way that Nana Visitor changed her face to be a different personality was they captured that moment in the card. So
Oh yeah.
so kudos to creative and art for the pull on that picture.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, really, all of these cards, I would have to say 2E. My top list has been pulled mainly from card mechanics, deck functionality, just things that I've played in decks that I know work well. To say nothing of Trek sense, but you're right. It was a great episode, and that really does. They didn't just pick a picture of her, in just a neutral frame. They really got the essence of it.
Nice. Well, Ed, thanks for coming out and chatting with me today on your top 5 Bajoran cards for first edition and second edition. I won't keep you from your couch anymore.
Oh, I've been on the couch the whole time. Yeah. So but I appreciate the sentiment. And thank you for having me. I was quite honored when you asked if I would participate. Because you're right, I'm not
Well,
on the boards a whole lot, and some of the people from the boards and from the community, I've met. They're all great people, but I don't get out much. The couch it beckons to me. So
All right. Well, I will see you on Sunday
Indeed.
for our. So if you're coming out, I found extra packs. We're doing Infinite Diversity Draft here in Chicago on Sunday,
There you go.
noon. The Gaming Goat in Schaumburg.
You heard it here. I know for all the millions of watchers around the world. Is that how it goes? Yeah.
All right, well, guys, so to my audience, thanks so much for watching. We will see you next week, or next time, not next week, but next time for our top 5 Cardassian cards.
Oh, why couldn't you have hit me up for that one? Oh, no, wait. I can do that one as well. Hey, I'm available quite a lot. I don't get out much mainly for tournaments, but I have a lot of free time, and I could use the company. So even if it's not for Cardassians, maybe just give me a call or something.